In 2004, 5 teams finished the season undefeated. 5. That's more perfect teams than we've seen in the entire college football playoff era combined. But here's the plot twist that broke the internet before the internet even knew how to break. The system could only crown one champion. This isn't just about football. This is about perfection being punished, politics destroying dreams, and how one season exposed college sports as the beautiful, corrupt mess we all secretly knew it was. Buckle up, because 2004 was the season that set the playoff era in motion. Stick around to the end, where we run a playoff what if and see how the chaos could have played out. August 2004. George W. Bush is president. Facebook is still just for college kids, and college football feels predictable for once. USC opens as the unanimous #1. Matt Leinart throwing dimes to future NFL stars. Reggie Bush looking like he was created in a video game. Oklahoma sits at #2 with Jason White, the reigning Heisman winner, and some freshman running back named Adrian Peterson who's about to rewrite the record books. Everyone thinks it's a 2-horse race. The media prints their preseason magazines. Vegas sets the odds. Fans plan their championship parties. They had no idea what was coming. September 4th, 2004. FedEx Field, Washington, D.C., USC.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Franklin, and welcome to Landover, Maryland. The co-national champions and the preseason #1 ranked men of Troy have come a long way to play their first ball game at this BCA Classic here in Landover as they take on the newest member of the Atlantic Coast Conference, the Virginia Tech Hokies.
The Golden Boys of college football travels across the country to face Virginia Tech. The Hokies aren't supposed to have a chance. Marcus Vick is suspended for the year, leaving backup quarterback Brian Randall to face the buzzsaw. And Bud Foster's vaunted defense, shredded by Aaron Rodgers in the 2003 Insight Bowl, had supposedly been figured out by modern offenses. But something magical happens. Randall doesn't just survive, he thrives. Virginia Tech actually leads the #1 team in the country deep into the third quarter. The stadium is electric. College football Twitter would have exploded if Twitter existed. For most of the game, the young Hokie defense keeps the Trojan offense in check. USC finally escapes 24-13, helped by a controversial late offensive pass interference call against the Hokies. But the damage is done. The aura of invincibility, gone. The perfect season everyone assumed would be easy, suddenly looking very, very difficult.
Most love teams.
5 wide receivers set on 3rd down. Campbell in the end zone. Caught! Touchdown Auburn! Touchdown Auburn!
Meanwhile, 2,000 miles south in Auburn, Alabama, something special is brewing. Jason Campbell, the quarterback everyone had written off, looks suddenly confident under new offensive coordinator Al Borges. Behind him, Cadillac Williams and Ronnie Brown form the most dangerous backfield in America. One a finesse runner who glides through holes, the other a bulldozer who creates his own.
03 season, was predicted to compete for a national championship, and a lot of things just didn't go our way that year. And we kind of went through some things that made us closer. And after being challenged and everything that we went through, and to finish that season off, with 2 big wins against Alabama and against Wisconsin, to come into this off season.
The Tigers open their season by demolishing everyone in sight. But they're Auburn. They play in the SEC. Nobody outside the South is paying attention yet.
Share crying tears in the locker room and talk about what we've accomplished.
Remember, back then, the SEC wasn't nearly as dominant as they have been lately.
Well, Brett, it's the greatest scene in all of college football, but both of these teams have suffered from some cabin fever. A 4-day delay due to those hurricanes, but now the Miami Hurricanes and the Seminoles are ready. But in pregame, there wasn't the bounce in their step. It was like, let's just get this game played. I can't say the same, though, for the crowd. They have been shouting and cheering. They want to get it on.
Week 2 delivers a classic. Miami versus Florida State in the Orange Bowl under the lights. This is still the era when those names mean everything. When the U isn't just a logo, but a warning. And Bobby Bowden's Seminoles are college football royalty. It's a bloodbath. Defense everywhere. Frank Gore punches in the game winner in overtime.
sprinting, cutting.
Miami 16, Florida State 10, and another national title contender has declared itself. But the real story is happening in places nobody's watching. Utah, coached by some upstart named Urban Meyer, is absolutely demolishing opponents with quarterback Alex Smith running a spread offense that looks like it's from the future. The Utes are averaging 45 points per game, but they're in the Mountain West, so they might as well be playing in witness protection. Boise State is doing the same thing in the WAC, running up scores and dream seasons that the polls treat like charity cases. Auburn keeps rolling with the help of a personal foul on LSU. Oklahoma keeps winning. USC survives another close call. By the end of September, the stage is set for one of the wildest Octobers in college football history.
It was crunch time, and I just remember it just, I'm getting chills right now.
Great one, let's go!
October 2004 is when college football loses its collective mind. It starts in Knoxville. Auburn rolls into Knoxville to face Tennessee, and the Volunteers are ready. This is still Philip Fulmer's Tennessee, still a program that expects to compete for SEC titles. The crowd is deafening, the tradition is overwhelming, and Auburn doesn't care about any of it. Jason Campbell picks apart the Tennessee secondary like he's been doing this for decades. Cadillac Williams slices through holes that seem to open just for him.
And Hefney come in to make the tackle, but 22 yards.
Ronnie Brown runs over defenders who thought they could tackle him.
2-1 in the end zone. Touchdown.
Final score, Auburn 34, Tennessee 10. It wasn't even that close. Suddenly people are starting to notice. Auburn isn't just winning games, they're destroying opponents in a conference where destruction isn't supposed to be possible.
It feels great. I just want to thank God, for giving us the opportunity. Thank the coaching staff, my teammates. They just came out ready to play. And, we just ready to play, basically.
1 week later, college football delivers the most dramatic doubleheader in its history.
From Los Angeles, the #1 Southern California Trojans are at home against #7 California Golden.
In Los Angeles, #1 USC hosts #7 California with ESPN's College Game Day on site in front of over 90,000 fans at the Coliseum. Aaron Rodgers, the future Hall of Famer nobody knows is a future Hall of Famer yet, puts on the performance of his college career. He completes 23 consecutive passes at one point, carving up the Trojan defense like a surgeon with a scalpel. California has every chance to win. They drive inside the USC 10-yard line with the game on the line. 4 plays, national championship implications, the crowd holding its breath. USC's defense holds. On 4th down, Rodgers' pass falls incomplete. Game over. Trojans survive 23-17, but they look human for the first time all season.
So let's take care of it!
That same afternoon in Dallas, the Red River rivalry delivers a masterpiece. Oklahoma, Texas. The Cotton Bowl split down the middle in red and orange. 2 unbeaten teams, 2 proud programs, 1 survivor.
Greatness, a place in history surely awaits.
And then Adrian Peterson happens. The freshman from Palestine, Texas, runs like a grown man playing against children. Every carry is a statement. Every yard is earned through contact. Oklahoma doesn't need tricks or gimmicks. They just hand the ball to their 18-year-old phenom and watch him destroy the defense that was supposed to stop him. Final score, Oklahoma 12, Texas 0. A shutout in the Red River rivalry. While the Giants survive elsewhere in the country, dreams are dying. Purdue has Kyle Orton throwing passes all over Big Ten defenses, looking like a legitimate dark horse for the national title. But against Wisconsin on October 16th, with the game on the line, Orton scrambles and fumbles. Wisconsin scoops it up and runs it in for the winning touchdown. Just like that, another perfect season is over. By Halloween, the picture is clear and chaotic. USC and Oklahoma are still unbeaten at the top. Auburn is steamrolling the SEC. Utah is averaging 45 per game, and nobody cares. Boise State is undefeated and completely invisible. And everywhere else, contenders are falling by the wayside. The BCS computer is about to have a nervous breakdown. November 2004 is supposed to be when the season sorts itself out. Instead, it becomes the month that breaks college football. Miami, riding high after that early win over Florida State, thinks they're built for another championship run. They have the talent, the tradition, and the swagger that made the U a dynasty. But on Halloween weekend, they walk into Chapel Hill expecting a routine win over North Carolina.
They are team that's won more games than anybody in the last 4 years, and their goal every year is to win a national championship.
The Tar Heels have other plans. This is North Carolina at its most dangerous, a team with nothing to lose and everything to prove. Connor Barth lines up for a 54-yard field goal as time expires. The kick splits the uprights. The stadium explodes. Number 4 Miami is stunned, 31-28. It isn't just a loss. It feels like the end of an era. The Hurricanes, who dominated the early 2000s, are suddenly mortal, and everyone knows it. A week later, Miami loses in overtime to Clemson in the Orange Bowl. Meanwhile, Auburn just keeps rising.
Through the smoke with wishes high, here come the Tigers of Auburn. Right behind them, the Bulldogs of Georgia. Many are saying here, this is the most significant game to be played in this stadium in more than a generation.
The Tigers host number 8 Georgia in Jordan-Hare Stadium, and it's a statement game. Jason Campbell throws 2 touchdown passes. Ronnie Brown catches one of them and runs for another. Cadillac Williams does Cadillac Williams things, making defenders miss and then making them regret being on the same field. Final score, Auburn 24, Georgia 6. Not close, not competitive, a demolition of a top 10 team that leaves no doubt. Auburn belongs in the national championship conversation. But the polls aren't listening. The Tigers sit at number 3, trapped behind USC and Oklahoma, with no way forward and no path to glory. Out west, California keeps winning behind Aaron Rodgers, but a different kind of controversy is brewing. Mac Brown is doing something unprecedented, openly lobbying poll voters to move his team ahead of Cal in the standings. The Longhorns, with Vince Young finally showing flashes of the greatness that will define his career, are knocking on the Rose Bowl's door. The politics of college football are about to get ugly. In the brand new ACC, Virginia Tech is writing one of the season's most incredible redemption stories. After dropping 2 early games and being written off by everyone, the Hokies refuse to quit. Brian Randall, the same quarterback who gave USC everything they could handle in Week 1, leads them to win after win after win.
Well, I think so. You know, we're a real young football team, and we got some time to practice, and I see this football team getting a little bit better all the time.
To the BCS Spotlight Game, presented by ADT.
The season finale comes at Miami to clinch the ACC title. The Hurricanes still have talent and pride, but Virginia Tech is tougher, hungrier, and more determined. Randall makes the throws when it matters, hitting freshman Eddie Royal for a late score to clinch the game. Virginia Tech 16, Miami 10. In their first year in the ACC, the Hokies are champions.
To the Broncos of Boise State.
December 2004 should be a celebration of excellence. 5 teams have achieved perfection, 5 unblemished records, 5 fan bases dreaming of national championships. Instead, it becomes the month college football implodes. The conference championships only make things worse. Auburn demolishes Tennessee again in the SEC championship game, finishing undefeated in the most brutal conference in America. Normally, that's an automatic ticket to play for the national title. But 2004 isn't normal. Oklahoma cruises through the Big 12 championship to stay unbeaten. USC wraps up the Pac-10 title, maintaining their wire-to-wire number 1 ranking. Utah, with Alex Smith dissecting defenses in Urban Meyer's revolutionary spread offense, finishes 12-0 and becomes the highest-ranked team from outside the major conferences in BCS history. Boise State finishes undefeated too, but the polls treat them like they don't exist. When the final BCS rankings are released on December 5th, 2004, the outrage is immediate and volcanic. USC stays at number 1. Oklahoma holds at number 2. Auburn, 13-0 and SEC champions, is locked at number 3 with nowhere to go and no way forward. 3 unbeaten teams, 2 championship game spots, 1 system that everyone suddenly realizes is completely broken. But the controversy doesn't end there. California, led by Aaron Rodgers and riding a season of incredible football, sits at number 4 heading into the final week. Everyone expects them to secure their Rose Bowl bid. Then Mac Brown starts making phone calls. The Texas coach openly lobbies poll voters, arguing that his one-loss Longhorns deserve to leapfrog the one-loss Bears. When the dust settles, Texas has jumped Cal in the final standings. The Rose Bowl selects the Longhorns, and Cal fans are left stunned, furious, and heartbroken. The fallout is so severe that the Associated Press pulls its poll out of the BCS formula altogether, citing concerns about political manipulation. 5 perfect teams, 3 left behind, 1 system in ruins. The 2004 bowl season is supposed to be college football at its finest. Instead, it becomes an exhibition of everything the BCS got wrong. In the Sugar Bowl, Auburn finally has their moment. 13 wins, 0 losses, SEC champions facing Virginia Tech, the ACC champions who scared USC in Week 1 and never looked back. It should have been for the national championship. Instead, it's a consolation prize. The game is everything Auburn fans feared, a grinder where style points matter more than survival. Jason Campbell throws for 2 touchdowns, but Virginia Tech won't go away. Brian Randall, the same quarterback who gave USC fits, keeps the Hokies alive until the final whistle.
80 yards in 12 seconds.
Auburn holds on 16-13, but it feels hollow. The Tigers did everything right, went unbeaten, won the SEC, beat everyone put in front of them, but they never got the stage they deserved. In Pasadena, the Rose Bowl delivers one of college football's greatest individual performances. Texas, the team that politically leapfrogged Cal, faces Michigan in a game that launches a legend. Vince Young turns the game into his personal highlight reel, running for 192 yards and 4 touchdowns while throwing for around 180 more. With the game on the line, Young glides 60 yards for a touchdown that looks like poetry in motion.
Really loose. Touchdown. No.
Texas wins 38-37 on a last-second field goal, and Young announces himself as the most dynamic player in college football. In the Fiesta Bowl, Utah carries the banner for the forgotten teams. Urban Meyer's Utes, led by Alex Smith and featuring a revolutionary spread offense, absolutely demolish Pittsburgh from the opening snap. Smith throws for 4 touchdowns in the first half alone, and Utah rolls to a 35-7 victory that proves a mid-major can dominate on the biggest stage. The Utes become the first non-BCS conference team to finish undefeated and win a major bowl game. They prove the system is broken, but they do it with style. Boise State, unbeaten but shunted to the Liberty Bowl, finally falls to Louisville 44-40 in a shootout that almost nobody watches. The Broncos' perfect season ends in obscurity, a reminder of how the BCS treated teams that didn't fit its narrow definition of worthy.
You and the USC Trojans ready? Hey, this is a great opportunity. This is all we ever wanted right here. We've worked like crazy. This is the night. Let's get it done.
And then comes January 4th, 2005, the Orange Bowl. Number 1 USC versus number 2 Oklahoma for the BCS National Championship. 2 undefeated giants, loaded with NFL talent, meeting for all the marbles. It's supposed to be an instant classic. Instead, it becomes a coronation. USC comes out throwing haymakers from the opening drive. Matt Leinart, calm and precise, picks apart the Oklahoma secondary like he's throwing in practice. Reggie Bush turns every touch into a highlight reel, making defenders look foolish with cuts and moves that seem to defy physics. By halftime, it's 38-10 USC. By the 4th quarter, it's a massacre. Final score, USC 55, Oklahoma 19. It isn't just a win, it's a statement. The Trojans destroy the team everyone thought was their equal, leaving no doubt about who the best team in America is. Matt Leinart finishes with 5 touchdown passes. Reggie Bush piles up around 200 all-purpose yards and 2 touchdowns. The USC offense gains well over 500 total yards and looks unstoppable. For Oklahoma, it's humiliation on the biggest stage. Jason White, the reigning Heisman winner, throws 2 interceptions and looks overwhelmed. Adrian Peterson, the freshman phenomenon, manages just 82 yards on 25 carries. The Sooners' vaunted offense scores 19 points and looks completely outclassed. USC has their championship. Pete Carroll has his title. The Trojans are kings of college football. But for Auburn, Utah, and every other perfect team watching from home, it's a bitter reminder of what they never got the chance to prove.
Of the 2004 Heisman Memorial Trophy.
The 2004 Heisman Trophy race is as chaotic as the season itself. Matt Leinart takes home the hardware after leading USC to perfection, but the story isn't that simple. The runner-up is Adrian Peterson, a true freshman who rewrites what's possible. 1,925 rushing yards and 15 touchdowns in his first year, carrying Oklahoma's offense and establishing himself as the most dominant back in the country. A freshman finishing second, that simply didn't happen until Peterson did it. Final top 5, Leinart wins, Peterson second, Jason White third, Alex Smith fourth, Reggie Bush 5th. And Auburn stars, Cadillac Williams, Ronnie Brown, Jason Campbell, they split the vote among themselves and are shut out of the ceremony entirely. The team that went undefeated in the SEC has zero representation at the Heisman presentation. The 2004 season should end with celebration. Instead, it launches 2 decades of controversy that still rage today. USC's championship is later vacated due to NCAA sanctions involving Reggie Bush, the title game victory, the perfect season, the coronation in Miami. Wiped from the BCS record books, the AP title remains. The dynasty that seemed untouchable becomes a cautionary tale about the dangers of breaking rules. Auburn fans never let go of the snub. In 2025, 21 years later, the university retroactively claims the 2004 national championship, arguing they were the only major conference team to finish unbeaten that didn't later have their title vacated or their stars disgraced. California fans still seethe about the Rose Bowl politics. Utah's breakthrough forces the sport to take non-traditional powers seriously. Boise State keeps building until they finally get their breakthrough moment later in the decade. The BCS, exposed as fundamentally flawed, begins its slow death march toward the college football playoff. Here's the question that haunts college football. What if the 2004 season had happened with today's playoff system? Imagine a 12-team bracket, USC, the wire-to-wire number 1 with the best roster in the country. Oklahoma, the Big 12 champions with Adrian Peterson. Auburn, unbeaten SEC champions with the best defense in football. Utah, unbeaten behind Urban Meyer and Alex Smith. Texas, with Vince Young beginning his legendary run. California, with Aaron Rodgers throwing to future NFL receivers. Georgia, Boise State, Virginia Tech, Louisville, LSU, and Iowa, all fighting for their place in history. Instead of one championship game and a dozen what-ifs, we would have had 3 weeks of the most incredible football ever played. Every game would have been appointment television. Every weekend would have been championship weekend. But we didn't get that tournament. We got one game, endless arguments, and 20 years of wondering what might have been. Maybe we should just ask Virginia Tech, the one team that stood across from both USC and Auburn that year. The 2004 college football season wasn't just about football. It was about perfection being punished, politics destroying dreams, and a system that prioritized tradition over fairness. It showed us that sometimes doing everything right isn't enough. Auburn went 13-0 in the SEC and never got their shot. Utah went unbeaten and was treated like an afterthought. Boise State dominated their conference and was invisible to the voters, but it also showed us what was possible. 5 teams achieved perfection in the same season. 5 different programs from 5 different conferences all found ways to win every game that mattered. The college football playoff exists today because of 2004. The outrage over Auburn's snub, the anger about Cal's Rose Bowl robbery, the frustration with Utah's invisibility, all of it built toward the system we have now. 2004 was the year college football realized it needed to be better. It was the season that broke the old system and forced the creation of something new. And maybe, just maybe, it was the greatest season in college football history. Not because of what happened, but because of everything that could have happened if the system had been ready for that much perfection. In the end, 2004 taught us the most important lesson in sports. Sometimes the best stories are the ones that never get told. Sometimes the greatest champions are the ones who never got their chance. And sometimes, just sometimes, perfection isn't enough. But man, it was beautiful to watch. Let us know if you think Auburn or even Utah got robbed, or if you think USC was still the best team.